How you guys doing? I want to talk about this video is what's the right car to live in if you're going to be living in your car. And I've been living in my car for the last 4 years and 4 months, actually several vehicles. So I want to give you a rundown and it'll just come right out there and let you know what's going on. Real quickly, if you're looking at an RV, the big problem, I think RV is a great place to live. If you're comfortable, you can live in an RV. You know, you got your shower in there, you've got your bed in there, and the setup is great. It can work really well. However, it's a big red flag in most cities right now. Big red flag with all the laws going on and the police and the ordinances going on. RVs are like the first place that they target. And I live in my car in LA and Orange County, and in LA they'll just keep ticketing you. If they get like up to 5 tickets, then they can just impound your RV. So RVs are probably the worst because they'll measure the length on it and tell you it's too long. It sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's pretty much these days it's practically a federal offense just to drive an RV. It's unbelievable. So I would say RVs are a bad choice if you're looking at what kind of vehicles. Now let's go to cars real quick here. Now cars, a lot of times people get thrown out on the street because their landlord raised the rent, which nobody seems to be talking about in America right now. They're just accused, everybody's homeless. They're saying, oh, these people are homeless. We don't know what happened. Newsom, for California governor, spent $24 billion. They can't even figure out where the money went. He claims he's lost $24 billion, and yet, supposedly to help the homeless. That was a fund to help the homeless. In the meantime, he's created an executive order based on the U.S. Supreme Court decision that it's okay, it's not cruel and unusual, which was the decision by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1962. U.S. Supreme Court made a decision and said in 1962 it is cruel and unusual to arrest somebody that's homeless on the street somewhere. Well, recently, our corrupt, wicked U.S. Supreme Court said it's not cruel and unusual. So Newsom did an executive order. So he's clearing everybody out. But you're wondering, well, what does it have to do with me? Everything to do with you. Because if they can go and, when they're clearing out people, they're clearing out RVs also. People that are on the streets, their belongings, their RVs are there, their cars are there, they're sleeping there in different cities, and they're just going to and impounding the cars and taking everything else. So what's next for people that are just actually sleeping in their cars? Because the law, when they overturned that law recently, U.S. Supreme Court, the decision that the U.S. Supreme Court made was very general, and it didn't really cover whether people in cars could sleep in there or not. It didn't cover that at all. It just said, basically, if you're sleeping in a public place, which could be in your car, and you have a pillow, it's considered practically a criminal offense, and they can arrest you for it. It's unbelievable. But let's go back with the car situation here. If you have a gas car, there's pros, and the negative of having a gas car is this. One, wherever you sleep at 2 or 3 in the morning, the car's running the whole time. The engine's loud. The cops are going to hear it. If the cops pull up and they put out a light on you and they hear that engine running at 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, it's going to be hard to justify what exactly you're doing at 2 or 3 in the morning. And just remember the golden rule. You never admit that you're sleeping in your car. You never say, I'm homeless, I'm sleeping in my car. Never. First of all, you're not homeless and you're not lying because your car is your home. So you're not homeless. So don't ever admit that. They want you to admit that so they can put you in the criminal system, so they can get your name, record you in the system, and now they have you as in the city ordinance system, and they're building a database on you. And they do this with all the people because in their eyes today, police today and cities today, they're not going after rapists and murderers and criminal drug cartel and people doing drugs and sex trafficking, and they're not going after that. They're going after the homeless. They're blaming the homeless for all their problems as the scapegoat. So do not ever admit if you get knocked on a window by a cop. My golden rule is I don't answer it because I figure, one, when the cops knocked on my window, and it's been multiple times, I didn't answer it because I told myself, well, I could have my headphones on, I could be sleeping, and they're like, hey, this is the police, we're here to help you, we're just part of the homeless program, and they had the flashlight through my car, and they were going through every single, but my windows were all blacked out and closed out with drapes at the time. And they had a flashlight, and I could see lights going all through, and I was tucked in the back seat, and I was deathly silent. But I didn't have an engine. I had a hybrid car. So with an engine, the engine would be running the whole time. It'd be obvious that you're in your car. So that's one thing you have to remember if it's running the whole time. Plus you'll go through a lot of gas doing that, okay? Because you got to keep the AC on. Otherwise your car can get up to 120, 130 degrees easily at night. You'll be sweating up a storm. My old car, before that car that I had, was not a hybrid. It was just a gas car, a Toyota, a small Toyota car, and economical car. And that thing, I was sweating bullets where I had to have all the windows down. And one time I was sleeping in it, and it was in LA, Los Angeles, and a cop pulled up and was ticketing the car in front of me. But this was like 2 in the morning, and all my windows were down, and I could hear as I woke up to a radio dispatch of a police radioing something in, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, holy cow. Because if it's so hot, you're going to roll your windows down. If you roll your windows down, a cop can pull up right up on you. Or a dog walker, which is like the worst place in the world. Dog walkers will call the police on you in a minute. They're flat out wicked, evil people. They have nothing better to do with their business but calling you. So a gas car can be tough. Because the engine's going to run the whole time. And if you shut it off, you might be sweating bullets because it could be 120 degrees in your car. So that's one thing to think about. Hybrid. So I had a gas car originally, a Toyota. Then I went to a Toyota Prius and a Prius hybrid. So one time when the cops banged on my door then, and a Prius, I immediately was like, oh, I was silent. I could see the lights coming through. I wasn't going to open up. I didn't open up. But it was hybrid, so it was silent. And then when they left, the engine went back on, because the engine will go on every like 15 minutes. So if you're sleeping in your car in a hybrid, any kind of hybrid, generally the engine will go on. My Prius Prime went on because the gas is charging up the electric that's going through, right? If your car is silent and hybrid, the AC is on, like climate control. You set the climate control, right? 69, 70 degrees, which I had, so I could sleep. But then after a while, that electric's going to run out and the AC needs to continue. So the gas engine will kick on for 15 minutes and charge up the battery. So if someone's walking by at 3 in the morning, they're going to hear that engine. I mean, it was a miracle of God, because the police left and then the engine went right back on. I was like, oh my gosh, oh no. So now I have, an electric. I went to an electric. So I had a gas car, then I had a hybrid, and then I went to electric. Now, electric's great because, one, it's not going to go on, and you can set the climate control all night long to sleep in it, and you're not going to have any problems, right? It'll be deathly silent, right? So that's a good positive plus. Also, with an electric, you can sleep. Whereas a gas car, you're going to sleep anywhere, but electric, you can sleep on a charger. Now, some of the chargers in LA end at 12 at midnight, and some of them, or if they're in a public spot, you can sleep in it, like a public center, because sometimes security doesn't know whether that charge is going all night or not. They have no idea. Cops don't know. When they drive by and they see your car on a charging station at night, this is a free one. Sometimes there's free ones. So just remember, you can go to different places where Volta is a free one, VOLTA, free charging. So you can go on there and sleep on that charger all night long. No cop's going to pull up on you because you can say, I'm just charging, right? It's not illegal to be in your car charging while you're sleeping. You can sleep in your car, you can do whatever you want, right? Whereas if you're a gas car or a hybrid, you're not going to be charging. You might be charging on a hybrid, maybe, but overall, they're gonna roll up on you and say, what's going on, especially if you're in a neighborhood. So I would say overall, electric is the best, but I hate being on a charging station all the time. You're chained to a charging station. You're always charging in the morning and in the evening. So I sleep at the charger. So believe it or not, nobody's aware that you're going to be sleeping in a charging station charging your car. You're still under the radar. And a good cop friend of mine said, whatever you do, make sure you're under the radar. Stay under the radar. What does that mean? That means don't have towels hanging off your cars when you're staying somewhere. Don't stay in private spots like Walmarts. All this advice is horrible online. Walmarts are the worst place to stay because the cop can roll up and say you're in private property and he can cite you, especially if that Walmart store says we don't like people sleeping in our lot. So private lots are bad. Public streets are the best, because right now, even though the law says that it's not, our wicked U.S. Supreme Court passed that law that says it's not cruel and unusual to go arrest a homeless person, well, that sleeps in a public place, which is shocking to me. So now the laws have gotten stringent. Now the cops are cracking down on everybody. So if And I talked to an officer one time. The cop said, if you're sleeping in a public street in your car, we cannot legally arrest you because it's a public street. Of course, if you're sleeping on the physical street, they can arrest you now that the U.S. Supreme Court passed that law. But the law's still general. They didn't cover a lot of it. So you're still relatively safe in your car. Now, every city is going to have an ordinance that's going to that's going to prevent you from sleeping in your car. Every city in all of America is going to say, you can't sleep in your car, it's illegal. But you can always fight it. If you got a citation, remember about citations, always fight them. Most of the time, the city is just handing out tickets left and right. They're trying to make millions of dollars for their city, and they don't want to go to court on anything. So if you fight it, if you write a letter with the citation and say, I'm detesting this because this was false, whatever reason you can think of that it's false, because the cops they're always lying anyway, and they're all manipulative, so they're always trying to just change the law or lie or whatever. Whatever way you can find that it's false, take some pictures of the area and say this was false, even if they know it's not false or whatever. Even, always speak the truth. I'm a Christian, I speak the truth. But whatever way you do it, write a letter and fight it. And I guarantee you the cop that's what they did. And they sent it back and said, we threw this out. Because they don't want to fight it. They're just looking for people just to pay, so they can bring millions of dollars into the police station. They're all corrupt, wicked people. Absolutely wicked. So I would say electric is good. Hybrid is really good. When you do park your car, remember let's go back to the car. If you're going to cook somewhere else. Don't cook where you're sleeping, because that's a bad idea. Number one. Number two, with your car situation, and this is just dealing with cars. I have another video on what items to use and what to get, but just with your car situation, make sure when you're parking, look for areas that are on public streets. Apartments are good, but not too much activity. You don't want to be parking where you can see out the window and someone's got their lights on and they're staring down. Bad. You want to be like on the beach is a great place to park at night, near the ocean, where there's a row of cars and vans, especially if even other vans are sleeping in their cars behind them. Make sure you're covering up in your car too. Make sure the windows are blackened and tinted out. Black limo tint all the way around, and a light tint from your front window. Make sure that your tint is black all the way around, limo tint. Because if you got some towel covering it up, if you don't have a limo tint, you can't afford it right now because it costs you about a lot of money, then I would say get drapes and cover it all the way around. Or what you can do is you can order these things, which is the cheapest way to go, on Amazon, and they're called window covers, and you can put them inside your car. Don't do the silver lining car covers that you see, the sun visors. Those are an obvious sign to police and people walking by that you're sleeping in your car. Get the black ones. The black one is like this, black, like see how this is black right here? They have ones for your windows too, that'll cover up your windows too, like this. See this? This covers up the window. See how it's shaped and everything like that? See how it's shaped? It's soft. It'll fit in your window. It'll cover up all your windows. You can buy one, go into Amazon, it'll ask you the model of your car, put window covers, and these are cheap. This is like maybe $30. You can get all of them and cover all your windows. You just put it in your window and it covers it. That's all you do. Put your sun visor up, black, like I just showed you, the black one, and then the window coverings, the window covers black also. This way, if a cop comes by with a flashlight and he's knocking, he's not going to be able to see through that. Or if a dog walker with a flashlight, God forbid, those hellbound people, those wicked people, they're the worst. They'll call the police on you in a minute. It's like, oh my gosh, 911. The police will say, what's going on? Did somebody get raped? No. Did somebody get shot? No. Was there a robbery? No. What happened? Oh, there's somebody sleeping in the car. Oh my gosh. Someone sleeping in the car, the police will send the whole police force. It's ridiculous. Absolutely absurd and ridiculous. Like I said, that's the new justification for all police departments now, to justify their crime. According to them, the homeless people, that poor person sitting on the side of the road, or that person sitting in their car because their landlord, their filthy, wicked landlord, kicked them out on the street and raised their rent, or whatever happened, according to them, that they're responsible for all the crime in the city. That's where we're going, this police state that we're going to. But I just want to give you some, with your car, where you park at, be careful. Make sure it's like I think it's like a cross between where a business and apartments are. Not all apartments, but apartments where it hits businesses, because you know no one's sleeping in their businesses at night. And you also don't want to be the only person on the street, okay? So if you look and go, this is a great spot, there's no other person there, it's a bad. You want to blend in. You want to be between other cars where you can get in there at 10 o'clock at night, park and sleep, and 5 a.m. out you go. So they're at sleep when you pull up at 10 at night. And by the time they wake up at 5 a.m., you're already moved. You're going to your other spot, which is, then you can go to a public spot. Then you can go sit at a donut shop in a public lot, or go to the gym, which is where I go to do your showering and take care of everything. Eat your breakfast. Do that somewhere else. I call it the 3 rule. The one rule is 1, wherever you sleep, sleep in one area. 2, don't stay in the same area that you sleep. 2 is your day area, okay? And 3 is your evening area. Separate 1, 2, 3 so they're not all in the same spot, so you're always moving. I stay in the same city, so whether I'm in LA or Orange County, I go to the same spots and I just stay there. I don't travel or do any of that nonsense. I'm just not into that. I think the more risk you try for new spots, the danger. Don't go in private residential neighborhoods either. Don't park there. They'll call the police on you in a minute. Go into public public streets, but near businesses, or near like a church, for instance, right? Nobody's at a church in the evening, right? So you can park there, and usually there's going to be cars on the street, so you kind of want to do that also. But like I said, if somebody knocks in your car window like they did on mine, don't answer. I've had several situations like that. I don't answer, because I'm going to make them break the window and drag me out, and then I'm going to file a $100 million lawsuit against the police, because they got to have a reason to go into your car, and generally they don't have any reason. So don't do that. Make them have a reason to go in your car. Make them file a report, get a warrant to go into your car, because they're not going to do that. So anyway, I've got some other videos I want you to watch, and I'm going to go into details about the items you need. The mandatory items. Like I said, I've lived in my car for over 4 years and 4 months now. So the items that you're going to need, and some other things about the laws also, okay? Bye-bye.